I'm Bruce Winston, and welcome back to the video series on the New Testament-based organizational spirituality terminal values. Today, we'll cover another 4 values. The first is positivity. Miner, while studying John 20:19-29, which is about healthy people, healthy communities, and values-centric behaviors, derived 9 principles that included spiritual leaders focus on the forward mission, spiritual leaders are welcoming, spiritual leaders encourage followers to prepare them for the future mission, spiritual leadership prepares for a proposed change, and spiritual leadership strengthens followers by providing the why behind change. Dr. Miner and myself compressed his as well as Pastorian Henson's principles into 5 principles that included spiritual leaders foster a positive future organization when communicating the need for organizational change. Dr. Miner and myself, after our qualitative study, derived the following scale development item. My leader demonstrates balance between people, organization, and culture during change initiatives. Then Dr. Gilbert and myself in Phase 3 values coded the scale development item and the principles into 2 terminal values, positivity and encouragement. Caracas, while describing positive organizations, referred to the concept of positive organizational studies in which scholars sought to understand what is positive, flourishing, and life-giving. Caracas referred to positively deviant leaders and organizational vitality. The terminal value of positivity would be an end state in which everyone looks for and sees the good in people, processes, structures, mission, vision, and general operations. Where this terminal value is achieved, people look for and see the good in people, in processes and structures, mission and vision, and general operations. This becomes a mindset of seeking the positive, much like the concept of appreciative inquiry. In other words, if we look for good, we'll see good. The next value is practiced espoused values alignment, or people's actions match what they say their values are. Miner, while studying John 20:19-29, which is about healthy people, healthy communities, and value-centric behaviors, derived 9 principles that included spiritual leaders are welcoming, spiritual leadership prepares for a proposed change. Pastorian Henson, while studying 1 John 1:1-10, which is also about healthy people and communities, derived 8 principles that included spiritual leaders seek to intrinsically motivate their followers by communicating vision while demonstrating care and concern. Through vision and altruistic love, spiritual leaders create a sense of belonging and appreciation among followers. Dr. Miner and myself condensed his as well as Pastorian Henson's principles into 5 principles that included spiritual leaders demonstrate authenticity by aligning their practice values and the organization's espoused values. Dr. Miner and myself, after conducting our qualitative study, produced the following scale development item. My leader focuses on employees' well-being during change initiatives. Then Dr. Gilbert and myself in Phase 3 values coded the principles and scale development item as the terminal values of practiced espoused values and authenticity. According to Dominic et al., when organizations practice the values they espouse, employees and customers buy into the company and interpret the organization as being authentic and trustable. A terminal value of the alignment of what organizations espouse and what organizational leaders and employees practice would be a state with little to no conflict about the positive authenticity and credibility of the organization. Where this terminal value is achieved, people describe those with this value as being authentic, transparent, and trustable. The people who are in organizations where this value is practiced have high levels of well-being and flourishing. The next is the value of recognition of calling. Crisp examined 1 Corinthians chapter 2, which was about leaders' self-awareness, openness, and transcendence, produced 5 principles that included biblical leaders developed competencies before carrying out their future calling. Abu Jaber and myself, after our qualitative study, produced a scale development item, "My leader is always learning." Then Dr. Gilbert and I values coded the principles and scale development item in Phase 3 as two terminal values: recognition of calling and discipleship development. According to Duffy et al., work as a calling is socially valuable in itself, and that calling is central to one's identity, promoting meaningful involvement within a particular work domain that benefits one's self, family, and/or society, and also what a person sees as his or her purpose in life. A terminal value of the recognition of calling would be a state in which all employees are certain that each is living out one's purpose that aligns with who they are and experiences meaningful involvement in the organization's daily life. Where this terminal value is achieved, people have purpose. They have high person-job fit and high levels of person-organization fit. They also find that they are high in job satisfaction, and they frequently show high employee engagement. These people also indicate that they have high levels of personal well-being and flourishing. The final value for this video is responsibility. Dayton, while studying Colossians 3:23-24, which is about work and leadership, produced 4 principles that included: leaders must follow and provide responsible, accountable, inspired instruction. Dr. Wayland and myself, after reviewing Dayton's principles in Phase 2, altered Dayton's principle to leaders practice motivational rewards that produce successful outcomes. Dr. Whalen and myself, after our qualitative study, produced a scale development item. My leader provides the needed support for employees to accomplish the organization's objectives. Dr. Gilbert and I, in Phase 3, values coded the principles and the scale development item as the terminal values of responsibility and accountability. Dose and Kilmosky examined felt responsibility as the responsibility that employees felt responsible to do, and showed how an increase in the organization's accountability and monitoring efforts negatively correlated with employees' felt responsibility. Dose and Kilmosky posited that the level of felt responsibility was positively correlated with the level of clarity of expectations by managers to employees. This is related to the concept of role ambiguity. The terminal value of responsibility would be a state in which all leaders and employees seek to know what they are responsible to do and for whom they serve. Where this terminal value is achieved, people feel informed, empowered, they have a sense of organizational support, and they have personal well-being and flourishing. When teaching future scholars, I know that I need to show students the methods, work with students as they try, and then correct their practice as a means of showing appropriate methods and acknowledging accomplishment. This is similar to what I've been talking about for this particular value, in that you need to be clear in your information you give to your employees. You need to make sure they understand what to do, get feedback from employees, let them try, and then correct them and show what improvements to make. We do this in many of our academic courses through a process called a draft review, in that we help students practice what we have taught them and then give them input on how they can become better at what they're doing. I hope this video has been informative to you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.